Welcome. So in this video, we're doing rational numbers addition and subtraction. So rational numbers involve decimals and fractions. Might see some, and you're going to see integers in here. Okay, so absolute value to find distance. Well, what is absolute value? Absolute value is the distance from 0. So 4 minus 1 is 3. The distance is 3. So which of these are showing a 3? C. Right? That's a 4, that's a 1, distance is 3. Okay, let's show the difference between the distance of -4 and 1. And you can see the distance between these is 5, right? So what else is going to get you 5? That's going to get you 5, that's going to get you 5. Because remember, absolute value means the distance from 0. So if you have a -5, the distance from 0 is 5. If you have a +5, it's still 5. So this gets you a positive, that gets you a negative. Either way, it would still get you a 5 since it's absolute value. A baby mango tree stands 2.6 meters above ground, so that's positive, and that's below ground. So we need to find the distance. To find the distance between these, we would need to add them together or do minus minus, because the distance between these would be about, I would have to convert that to a decimal, but over 3, about, okay, let's see, -7/5 minus 2.6 gets me -4. And then if you add them together, you would get 4. So both of these would get you with absolute value 4. So that's just dealing with absolute value. It's pretty simple. Moving on. Adding and subtracting negative fractions. Okay, you should already know how to do fractions. This is 7th grade math. That's something you learn in elementary school. They teach you to make these have common denominators. Common denominator here would be 10. Multiply that first fraction by 5, second one by 2. And so rules of fractions still apply. Denominator stays the same. Really what you're doing is subtracting the numerator. What's -5 minus 2? -7. And always simplify. So before doing this, you should know how to do fractions and integers. But it looks like I don't. What happened here? Oh, I multiplied that wrong. Sorry. I should have multiplied the second one by 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So in that case, this would be -5 minus 4, which is -9. Make sure you change the numerator as well. I messed that up. 2 negatives make a positive. Rules of integers. Okay, what's the common denominator here? 24. So we're going to multiply the first fraction top and bottom by 3. 7 times 3, 8 times 3. We're going to multiply this one by 4 to get to 24. Make sure you multiply the top. Oops, that's not 40. It should be Sorry, my microphone is acting up today and cutting out. All right, so these, you make the denominator the same. Deal with the integers. To add and subtract rational numbers, it's best to put all of these as fractions or decimals, whatever you want to do. Personally, decimals are a little easier to deal with. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Uh-oh. My everything is just cutting out with the Zoom today. I'm not sure. Zoom is just not compatible with certain things. Now my mouse is cutting out. Let me fix this. Okay, so 2 divided by 2 is 1. Oh, it has a mind of its own. That's 1.75. Okay, let's convert this to a decimal. You can use a calculator if you want to practice doing by hand, feel free. But that would be 1.76. So now we want to move left to right. This gets us 2.75 minus 1.76. 2.75 minus 1.76 gets you 0.99. You could put that as a simplified fraction. If you had to put these all as fractions, you would get a fraction answer. But, for me, it's just easier to do these when you're dealing with, when you put them as decimals. This as a decimal would be 1.85, right? We should know how to do percentages as decimals. If you're not sure, just divide that by 100. Negative 185 divided by 100 will get you negative 1.85 minus 1.7. You get negative 3.55. So important things it looks like you need to know from this unit is to convert things to decimals. And this should be stuff that you should know previously from other grade levels like elementary and sixth grade math. We should know how to do fractions. We should know how to do integers. I usually teach those fifth, sixth grade. We should know how to do PEMDAS, learn that sixth grade. We should know how to convert percentages to decimals. We should know how to do fractions to decimals. If you do not know how to do these things, you will have a hard time. So let me know. I have videos on all of those things. All right, let's continue. So once this unit is pretty much review of stuff we learned in the past. All right, so now we have some number statements here. So that part is just, doing math, adding and subtracting rational numbers. Now we're going to be dealing with some word problems. Eric was rock climbing. At one point, he stopped and climbed straight down. Then he climbed straight up. So if he went down, that's negative. If he went up, that's positive, right? So we're just putting these into words. Chike measure, I don't know how to say that name, sorry. Chike measures the change of temperature. Complete the expression. Okay, so it looked like it cooled down 20 and then it cooled down 50. Oh, that's an interesting creature. All right, so a computer program models a forest. It's 234 pixels to the left of the edge of the screen. When a lizard sprite appears on the screen, the Cody sprite moves 173 pixels. So it was to the left, and then it moved to the right. And now it's still to the left of the screen, negative 21. So we're just interpreting this into words. It's always good to improve our reading comprehension. What will the adult penguin find if he swims 27 meters above where he is already? Okay, so he's at negative 59, right? So if we added 27 to that, since we're going above, we would be at negative 32. We would be at the sardine. Very simple. All right, commutative and associative property. The commutative property is when you can add numbers, you can change their order. Associative is when you multiply them and you can change their order. So here they're basically saying which are equivalent. You don't even have to do the math for all of these. You should have a 21, a negative 11, a positive 8, and a negative 2. Whichever of those has that is equivalent. This here would become a positive 11, right? 2 negatives make a positive, that wouldn't work. 2 negatives make a positive, that wouldn't work. This one would also be a 21, negative 11, a positive 8, and a negative 2. It does not matter the order you put these in. As long as you still have your positives and negatives as you should, your answer will be the same. Feel free to calculate these if you want. It's great practice. For this one, I should have a negative 23, a 16, and a positive 9. So which of these get me that? Those are all negative 23s. That's a positive 16. Negative 9, that's not going to work. That would work. This one would work. So it's easy when you do it that way. Very simple. This is a pretty easy unit. As long as you work on these things, practice these individually. If you don't know how to do them. All right, let's move on. Is this the same? Is this the same thing? What's the difference? Interesting. Okay, which are equivalent? Okay, so even if I put this in parentheses, would that make a difference? Well, let's think. Negative 19 plus 3 would be negative 16 minus 6, which is negative 22. Negative 19 plus 3 is negative 16 minus 6. That gets me the same answer. What do you know? That's a negative 19, a positive 3, and a negative 6. So you would do the same thing. Feel free to calculate them. Calculate them though if you feel the need to. Okay, and that's pretty much this unit. So, if you're struggling with integers, fractions, any of those things I mentioned, feel free to type them in on Khan Academy. Let's say I'm terrible at integers, just terrible. I need to practice. I need to practice specifically subtracting integers. So, I'm going to go there and I'm going to find where I should practice them. I'm going to test out these different links and then, okay, I can practice adding there. I can practice subtracting here. Okay, let's say I'm bad at fractions. Terrible at them. Okay, let's practice here. Boom. So, you can find anything on Khan Academy. It's a great free website to use. Practice what you need to practice. Good luck.